Hi everybody, I am back. I'm going to do an acrylic painting, I think, in one of my journals. I pulled this journal out that I made out of an old book cover, and I just put these different signatures of different papers in with the hairband so that I could pull them out and work on them. So I pulled out a signature, if I can get a hold of it because I piled everything on top of it. And it was just papers that I took out of one of my dilutions journals as it was getting too fat. So I pulled some pages out and created new sized pages for that journal. So I'm going to work on a piece of this. It's like a Bristol card stock, sort of. So I'm going to go on that. But I drew this girl in one of my sketchbooks last night. And so this morning I just took a picture of it and printed it directly from my iPad to my printer. So she's kind of on a grayish looking background, even though the art journal that or the sketchbook that I drew her in, the paper wasn't gray, but that's how she came out, which is fine because I'm just using her as my pattern. And I have this little light box. You see how thin that is? It's so light. My journal weighs more than this light box does. Light panel, I'm not sure, I wouldn't even call it a light box because it's so small or so lightweight. It measures 12, 9 by 12. Which is perfect for most everything that I use it for. It is by TikTech. I got it on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description box. It was not expensive at all. It has 3 brightness levels. And off. 1, 2, 3, off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get her on some tracing paper, and then I can transfer her to my journal. Now I could just take this and glue it onto the page in my journal, but 2 problems with that. It's on just regular copy paper that came out of my inkjet printer, so the paper's not going to hold up to a whole lot of paint or anything. And also the inkjet ink might interfere with my paint. It may run into my paint, smear into my paint. So I'm just going to start over as far as painting her. But for right now, I'm going to get her traced and transferred onto one of these pages, and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm ready to transfer my tracing, and I'm wishing that I had turned her over. I probably could have still seen her, because while I like her the way I drew her, because I put this right on top and traced it, now I have to turn it over, and I'm not as crazy about this angle, but it's alright. I will mention I used this Royal Charcoal. It's called Carbon Chillo. It's a medium charcoal pencil because it'll make the transfer so much easier. So if you're not familiar with the transfer method, it will smear though too, so you've got to be kind of careful. If this was just a regular graphite tracing, then I would not have to be so careful to keep this in the same place. But I kind of like the way where the charcoal mixes with the paint, and I don't end up with a real heavy tracing either. I'm pressing fairly hard with my finger. You just do, I missed this line here, no biggie. You just don't want to slide the paper or you'll have a big smear. And it looks like it's kind of smeared on this side. I tore the paper right there as I was tracing her. I'll be a little careful right there. I'm going to hold it and just bring it back. I can see the lines well enough for my purposes. I'll bring her up a little closer. So I just have a nice kind of pattern to start with. I know the proportions are okay. Things are where I want them to be. So I am going to gather up. I'm not sure. I was thinking I would do her in acrylics. I may use acrylic. I'm going to use a variety. I'm going to gather up what I want to use to work on her, and I'll be back. Okay, I think I'm ready. I've just pulled out some acrylic paints. I have some charcoal and some pieces of pastel. I have some floating medium. I covered this page with clear gesso, and you can see the charcoal smeared a little bit, but I'm not at all concerned about that because that will all get covered up. I am going to sit to do this. I generally don't sit when I film my videos because I'm not usually doing this kind of painting. I don't do this very often on camera. I do it often, but not usually on camera. So where my opening is under my table for my legs is a little to the right of where my camera setup is. So I'm going to try real hard to keep this in frame. This will be tilted a little bit because of the way I'm sitting. So I'm just going to let the camera run while I work on this, and then we'll see what makes the cut in the editing process. Enjoy! I'm just going to explain real quickly so that you know what I'm doing as I'm using these brushes. I just have acrylic brushes in a variety of sizes. I have 2 sizes of flats and 2 sizes of round. This is a 4 and this is a 6, I believe. So this is an 8, a 4 and an 8 round, and a 14 and a 22 flat. And then I have a teeny little spotter brush. That's a 5-0 spotter. I have a liner, and it's so old I can't see a number, but I have a liner. I have this brush. It's a specialty brush. It's a 1/2 inch. I'm not even sure what it's called, but I like it for hair. You can see how the end of the bristles are uneven. And then I have a filbert in an 8, a snap filbert. So those are the ones I pulled. I may use something else but along the way, but that's what I'm starting with, and I'm just going to start in the background with just kind of a wet wash of blue. And this is going to be kind of a loose painting, so I'm not getting real precious about it. Just going for kind of a watery, messy first layer here. And I'm hoping you can see my camera is overhead, so as I'm working, especially when I'm sitting down, I really can't see what you're seeing or not seeing. I will check every once in a while, like I will check right now and make sure, but I have to stand up and go on my tiptoes, and then I can see. There we go. I guess I have to have her up a little ways she'll be moving and grooving and twisting and turning, because that's how I work. So I will try and keep her in frame as much as I can for you. And I just, once I get each layer done, I just like to hit it with the dryer, so and that'll be coming in and out too. and she's done. I hope you like her. I hope you enjoyed watching the process. Give this technique a try. It's a really easy way to get a fast start on a face. You can use a photograph or a reference that you get from an online source or your own artwork. If you liked this video and enjoyed watching the process, give me a thumbs up, share it out, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd love it if you did that. And in the meantime, go make some art. Bye.